It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Kyle.
Have yourself some lamb chops or anything tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's on the menu. I know that I'm making mashed potatoes, though.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Hard to do. You gotta peel the potato and mash it.
Don't know why my mashed potatoes are now under attack.
Liven them up, or is it really just boil and mash?
I do a little garlic. A little garlic every now and then.
Yeah, don't get too much flavor.
And Steve.
Because we know she's uber famous
Of course.
in Europe.
It goes Queen of England, William and Kate, Mr. Belvedere, Mr. Bean, Melissa Vaughn. So top 5. Not bad.
Yeah. And then
Is Mr. Belvedere British? I don't think he was. Now that I think about it.
Now, here they are, two guys who are living in style, Steve and Kyle.
Living in style we are. I love how Melissa Vaughn switches it up a bit.
Yeah. I like to, I'm glad we got the variety from her that, allows us to dig into the past.
Something is coming up in this audio file in about 10 seconds. I guess we're both going to be surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I send a weird file?
Well, we'll find out in 3, 2, 1.
Oh. I wonder what happened.
really bounced up. Oh, don't worry. Back down.
That is weird.
Yeah.
What's funny is I have 4
You mean the
groups.
You mean the production crew?
Yeah, whoever's back there. I have this. They use the same 4 introduction groups.
Yeah,
and then we put in. They put in sound bites.
They
put in.
Yeah,
sound
they
bites.
do it. Huh?
And they have not been adjusted.
Well,
from what I've been able to tell, since we got that Melissa Vaughn audio.
Yeah, it looks like
3 months ago.
Time to clean house in the production department here at the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Just an absolute embarrassment.
Oh, terrible! Some of the worst work I think I've ever heard.
I was probably that same guy who made the viewer mail time intro.
I don't know. That one's one of my favorites. So I guess the mystery is maybe we'll do a history of the mystery at some point.
I think I have this, and it typically happens where if I have anything to drink, even not a lot, but that next morning, I feel like I sound really good.
So what'd you have? Wait a minute, hold on. What'd you have to drink last night?
A couple of soda pops.
Maybe a little beverage or two.
Sorry, Bobcat. Shut up. Bobcat was making a joke.
Well, that's what Bobcat does. Bobcat voice is always there to be funny or be stupid. Well, sometimes both.
And Bobcat, to me, seems like the kind of guy who you can't even call him a comedian, though. You have to call Bobcat goes by jokesman. Because he looks at comedian like that, so like that scene down in Goodfellas, like, oh, funny how, like a clown.
Yeah.
Like he takes that as an insult. Bobcat Goldthwait calls himself a jokesman.
A jokesmith, perhaps.
A jokesmith, yeah.
I do like jokesman though. You don't hear that one too often.
Ever? Because it's not a real thing.
Because we just invented it.
I'll put that in the poll.
Is Bobcat a jokesman?
Is Bobcat Goldthwait a jokesman?
Not even Goldthwait. Just
is Bobcat.
Yeah, is Bobcat.
And I can't. What is the age range on Bobcat in terms of people who know him?
I would bet
we've got to be on the outer edge, right?
Yeah. It's us. Like we're on the low end.
Yeah,
age wise.
Yes,
people I would say mid-30s to probably late 40s.
Because his heyday was late 70s.
Oh, I thought it was 80s.
Was he an 80s comic?
Yeah.
So 80s. It's Bobcat Goldthwait. Like if you have to pick on a Saturday night, the big show, New York City, one venue you've got Bobcat, the other venue you've got Andrew Dice Clay.
Sure, because he would have been. Maybe even later than that. I bet he was 80s and 90s because remember him and Jerry Seinfeld had that big feud.
Yes.
So if he was like 50s or 60s, Seinfeld wouldn't. I mean, there wouldn't have been a rivalry then.
He's been a panelist on a radio quiz show lately.
Okay.
Born in 1962. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, yeah.
So I bet that he would have been big late 80s, early 90s. That would have been his late 20s, early 30s.
So, boy, yeah. 1993, he was performing stand-up as an opener for Nirvana.
Huh.
Which is always a weird thing. Yeah. Well, it's always a weird thing.
Or was there a stand-up comedian named Nirvana? Tap on that and make sure that it...
No, their final North American tour. Selected for the slot due to Kurt Cobain being a fan of his comedy. Yeah, I could see that. That's probably why he...
Oh. Yeesh. Thanks, Bobcat. You took away a legend.
Because does Bobcat Goldthwait's comedy hold up? Like, if you pulled up a quick bit on YouTube right now, would it be something that you and I would go, hey, timely, or still timely?
I have no idea what his comedy was about.
Either.
Like, was he like physical comedy, like Gallagher smashing watermelons?
Well,
oh boy.
At midnight on New Year's Eve, 1993, Goldthwait rappelled nude from a catwalk of the stage at the Oakland Coliseum as Kurt Cobain led a countdown. Huh. So, a bit slapsticky, like, hey, Bobcat, while I'm counting down from 10 to 0 for the new year, why don't you go rappel from the side of a horrible venue, outdoor venue. Nobody likes it. Oh, and do it nude. That'll get the hijinks ratcheted up.
Boy, that whole sentence was such a time capsule.
It is right. Half-hour HBO special, 1995. So it sounds like you're right.
Yeah.
Mid-90s.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's safe to say, Seinfeld won that feud, right?
Oh, definitely. But I bet Bobcat's doing okay. What is Bobcat?
I actually wouldn't be surprised if this isn't the first time we've looked up Bobcat's net worth.
Let's see. Net worth. All right. You want to play the over/under game?
Yeah, let's play the guessing game, and then I think we should do it in comparison to Jerry Seinfeld, just to really put a cap on who won this feud, because I'm unfamiliar with why they feuded outside of just two comedians who decided they didn't like each other anymore.
From what I remember, I think that it was Bobcat took a shot at Jerry, and it was honestly, I think it was more a shot at Jerry's fans, because he said like people are so stupid they think he really lives in that apartment, and that those are all of his, like, those are really his friends. Like, he's on a TV show. So, but then
wrong, right?
Seinfeld took big offense to it, which is weird because it was more about the people who liked Seinfeld. Now, I guess Seinfeld's doing like, hey, don't make fun of my fans or I'll come after you. But then Jerry, because there was a Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee within the last couple of years.
Right, where he mentioned it.
Where he said whoever his guest was, mentioned that Bobcat Goldthwait was like a mentor of hers.
Yes.
Or a good friend of hers or something. And Seinfeld just did like the, I don't like him, he's stupid.
Which
made it a little awkward.
But it's so weird to me because, one, I think, in hindsight now, 20 however many years removed from this Bobcat Goldthwait, Jerry Seinfeld start of the feud.
Yeah. Yeah, probably 25
There's been so much evidence that Jerry Seinfeld couldn't identify less with the layman and Jerry in Seinfeld, that in hindsight you kind of look back and say, maybe Bobcat had a bit of a point. People tried to identify with Jerry.
I think Bobcat has a very good point because I feel like any clip that we've ever seen of Jerry Seinfeld, it's of him being a dick.
Right. I still look at, and this was, 3 years ago, that video of, now I get not wanting to give people hugs.
Oh,
that's fine.
Kesha thing.
But him and Kesha, poor Kesha, who is, listen, she's not Madonna.
No.
But
Jerry Seinfeld shouldn't know who Kesha is.
Doesn't have to know who Kesha is.
Their worlds do not overlap other than that they're both famous.
Right.
But that's where their Venn diagram ceases to overlap.
But to very publicly and visibly, because he knows there's a camera on him at that instant, shoo her away like a bug is, for me, indicative of what I would imagine if I encountered Jerry Seinfeld today.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, Jerry Seinfeld is being interviewed on the red carpet of some event about something.
We've played this.
Yeah, microphone is in his face. She comes running up. Now, to his credit, she blurts out,
yes,
"Hi, Kesha, big fan." So
Yes.
he probably didn't even realize what she actually said. Can I give you a hug? And he just says, no, thanks. No, thanks.
I mean, do you think he thought it was a fan that stormed the
I don't
red
know.
carpet?
I don't know.
Has he? I wonder if he's talked about it since, because that almost feels like something they would both be a bit embarrassed by in hindsight.
I don't think he is. I don't think he would be.
Which, for my money, proves the point a little further how disconnected he is.
I don't think that he is somebody who ever says, yeah, that was a bad look. I shouldn't have done that.
I wish
But
I was kinder. I
Yeah.
wish I had. But then she's probably sitting at home going, "Oh man, I bum rushed him. I
Yeah.
was a fangirl there."
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe if you had just walked up and been like, hi, Mr. Seinfeld, I'm Kesha. I'm a huge fan. But I think that, it could have been handled better. I think it would have been a lot, like, we'd still be talking about it if he had said, oh, hey, giving her a hug. And then when she walked away, said, I don't have any idea who that was.
Yes.
That would have been just as funny.
Fun.
I
Yeah.
mean, maybe not just as funny, because I love the, no, thanks. No,
So
thanks.
He did talk about it after the fact, and I didn't know this. Seinfeld said no thanks and physically dodged her attempt. He said to the interviewer, I don't know who that was.
Yeah.
Upon being told it was Kesha, he replied, okay, well, I wish her the best. The actor explained why he chose not to hug her, revealing he didn't know who she was. Kesha discussed the incident, and as we predicted, I should have known better. I've seen the hugging episode of Seinfeld. That was my fault. She also said the incident made her think maybe I should stop trying to hug everyone and attacking them before changing her mind, saying, I was like, F that. No, I'm hugging. I like hugging. Hugging is beautiful.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess everybody kind of wins. She realizes that maybe she was a bit too aggressive.
Yes. I'm not saying you have to be a hugger or you have to hate hugging, but the least he could have done is say, oh, hey,
Oh, don't hug, but I'll shake your hand.
Yes, like the Howie Mandel. Like, you've never heard a story about Howie Mandel, who is notorious, germaphobe and doesn't want to shake hands. You've never heard a story about people going, man, that Howie's a real dick, and he wouldn't give me a hug. No, it seems like all the impressions of Howie Mandel, who in terms of celebrity is a pretty big celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Boy, talk about somebody who couldn't have been more prepared for the last year and a couple of months. He's probably like, everything's been exactly the same.
Day to day. So Seinfeld has come out, sorry, because that first article was about Kesha, obviously addressing it. This one, Seinfeld said it wasn't personal. He simply doesn't hug strangers. When you get to my age and you've done a couple things, you have your own reality. I don't hug a total stranger.
See, that's what makes it weird. Because if he had stopped at, I just don't hug people, all right, fine. But he has to throw in that, when you get to my age and you've done a couple things.
And he's playing this old man thing. I'm 63. I don't know every pop star.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, the next stage of Seinfeld stand-up is, boy, I'm so old. And then the crowd, how old are you? Is that the next stage?
I mean, that's kind of what he does. Like,
I'll put that on the poll as well. Is the next stage of Seinfeld stand-up, quote, I'm so old.
Okay, so
sorry,
but we digress.
Yeah.
Now we wanted to pull up Bobcat Goldthwait's net worth versus Jerry Seinfeld's net worth.
Yeah. Now I'm guessing. My initial guess.
I want you to guess the gap.
Yes. Well, I would
now, which means Bobcat could be worth $5 billion. Jerry could be worth a measly, million.
I could also be worth $5 billion.
Sure.
I would argue me being worth $5 billion is just as likely as Bobcat being worth $5 billion. And I'll also, no offense to Bobcat, as I think I have a pretty spot on impression of him.
And you said no offense, so he couldn't possibly be offended unless he had heard this before it was released, which is impossible.
Is just as likely as Bobcat being worth $5 billion, because neither are possible. I would guess the heyday.
You never know.
You never know. I'm sorry. We're getting too far away from it. We're guessing numbers. This is one of my favorite games, by the way. Anytime this comes up on our show, I love seeing how much people are worth. Right. So the gap.
The gap.
Because I'm going to guess.
I have to do a bit of quick math here. Because,
I'm going to guess.
These are some complex numbers.
And I'll filibuster while you use the calculator. am going to guess that Seinfeld is high 9 figures. I'm going to guess he's over $750 million, just based on residuals. We've had this conversation in regards to Tim Allen and Jerry Seinfeld, and I was more taken aback by Tim Allen's lower-ish number than Jerry Seinfeld's higher number. Mm-hmm. But based on Seinfeld, his stand-up career, and the way that Seinfeld is still being distributed, and it was really the first show that had that mass syndication money that you started to hear about. I'm going to guess Jerry Seinfeld is around $850 million.
Okay.
Now, Bobcat Goldthwait, who, again, his most recent credit on his Wikipedia appears to be a recurring guest spot on a radio show, quiz show.
That is the lowest of the low.
Now, I know Bobcat recently, and by recently I mean 7-8 years ago, directed a Sasquatch horror movie.
Any good?
I liked it, but it was in the vein of a Blair Witch.
I
very
fully
slow. Expected
you to say that it was a piece of garbage, but I don't know why.
Well, I don't know anything about Bobcat's directorial career, right?
Yeah, he could be one of those guys that, like, oh, he was an okay comedian, but he's an amazing, woodworker or something.
I'm going to guess Bobcat is, well, I won't want to say either end.
Okay, so you said, to recap, you said $850 for
Jerry Seinfeld. I'll guess the gap is about $843 million or $847 million different. Now, I'm not saying which direction. We could have We could have $1.7 billion worth Bobcat on our hands.
Yeah. Maybe he had a famous piece of art that he sold for a lot of money. Because we know he didn't get it from...
Yeah, so he's not worth it from his own accord.
No.
He's like a lottery winner.
Yep. All right, so you said...
I think the gap is $847 million, and to rip the Band-Aid off, way too long, Bobcat's worth $3 million is my guess.
Okay. You're actually closer than...
Really?
I think you would expect. The gap between them... A mere $948.8 million.
It's not fair of me to laugh. I'm not laughing at Bobcat because I'm assuming Bobcat is worth $1.8 billion.
Yeah. No, it looks like, now I don't know how updated this is, but according to this article, Jerry Seinfeld, $950 million. So $1 billion.
He's almost $1 billion.
He's worth essentially $1 billion. Bobcat, $1.2 million. Which is still good.
Well, he's a millionaire. For God's sake, he's a millionaire who hasn't been...
But if he buys a house, he's not anymore.
If he buys a nice house in Los Angeles, he's mortgaging that house.
He's broke. A nice house in Los Angeles is going to cost him $1 million.
Yeah, and he can't pay that in cash because then he'd be, he'd have to go back to work. And
I wonder if that's liquid or...
And what type of work outside of the weekly guest spot on a radio quiz show is there for Bobcat? I don't think the Sasquatch movie got a sequel.
No, probably not.
Those are all on the poll, all those questions related to Bobcat. Now, do you think billionaires walk around like, well, I'm assuming they're all a bunch of jerks anyway, but do you think they're like, well, Jerry... Last 50 million's the hardest.
Right. That's one of those things where, like, all he has to do is make one phone call and say, "Hey, adjust my royalties for the show." Oh, cool! I'm a billionaire now. Thank you. It's that easy. Like, can you get me an extra 0.1%? Yes. All right, billionaire. Nice.
It's crazy because you don't hear about Jerry touring the country much. In terms of stand-up or whatever. No. I know he does occasional shows. Like he had the Netflix thing last year,
Well, he was here. He was here within the last couple of years.
Didn't he was a headliner of a big festival? He can't be cheap.
No, I can't imagine he's cheap, and I can't imagine he does it because, like you said, he's 63 years old. He doesn't need to.
Right.
The guy's a billionaire. He doesn't... Although, I don't know. You hear about the creative types like that, the comedians who, doesn't matter how much money they have, they're still... driven by it. They still have that need to be up on stage.
Sure.
Like that need,
desire.
That need for the approval. And every comedian talks about how getting a laugh it's like their drug. So who knows? Maybe he does still tour a lot.
That was a gigantic digression down Bobcat land. I don't remember. We were talking about something else very specific before Bobcat because my impression
of him as a jokesman
something turned into Bobcat. Now I forget. Now I feel bad because that's going to be a gigantic loose end.
Oh boy. Well.
Oh, I was talking about me drinking. And we said, you asked me what I had to drink.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, and hence
that's Bobcat. That's the way it happens. Happens in every podcast that exact same way. There's no other way that Bobcat comes up on a podcast other than an accidental Bobcat impression.
In the list of things that we talk about most on this podcast, Bobcat's probably in the top 5. Like garage doors are definitely up there.
Yeah, I think we've missed an opportunity. Have we updated our tags in a while? Because we need to add Bobcat.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have garage doors on there.
I think I added it at one point,
okay.
and it's still on there.
I think we need to add or make sure bourbon is on there.
Bourbon, yeah, we talk about bourbon quite well. You talk about bourbon ad nauseum. I sigh.
I think we could put just the word Jewish.
Jewish, yeah.
Because as we've talked about over the past year, we have been angling to, hone in on the religion podcast market.
Yeah, we do have a lot of questions. That's why we have Brian Krause, who joins us like once a year to
talk about
answer some questions for us.
Still hasn't answered the burning questions regarding Rumspringa. That'll be next time.
Yeah.
But maybe we update our tags. Maybe that's how we get the next boost in listenership.
Yeah.
By adding Bobcat and bourbon to the tags.
Oh, boy. I just had a something pop in my head that is completely not what we're talking about. But I had somebody reach out to me trying to get on the side gig. And I don't think it's
trying
something
to get on
like as a guest.
Okay.
And I don't think it's not something we would do, but I feel like we would do it here.
Okay. Now, without wanting to say,
do you have the Google Doc open?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to type it all the way down at the bottom. I don't.
Is this something? Because you've messaged me about something. I think
no. This is something
different.
Yeah, it just popped up.
Do you think though? Before I look,
okay.
Do you think this is something that because I'm a yes man?
I am too.
I love different content. So, do you think this is something that they would agree to? Because
yeah,
I don't want to say
I need.
This is a couple rungs on the ladder down.
Look.
Yes.
Did you look at it?
Yes.
Yeah. I kind of
bring him up. Bring this person.
Should we just
up.
say it?
Well, I don't want to say it without being able to confirm.
I need to find out where, because I remember it was earlier in the week, and I just happened to be scrolling, and I saw somebody tag me in a post.
Because this is,
I need to get this.
This is kind of in the same vein that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, when we talked about wanting to talk to somebody who is dead set anti-vaccine, but not for a relatively logical reason. I want to talk to somebody who is fully on board with microchip. Happened too fast. Don't believe that. I'm think the government's tracking me. That's why they want.
I'd love to talk, and I'm not in an argumentative way at all. I just want to hear. I really would love to hear, like how they got in that mindset.
Right, and I know it turns into a massive you're so dumb, you're a sheep conversation. Right. But until it gets to that point, I generally want to try to understand how and why these people believe that. So this what you wrote on the Google Doc that is a possibility. And the reason I'm not saying it out explicitly is because I want to make sure it's something that could happen before I make that promise. Because the last time, Steve, that we made a promise was Mr. Skootsky. And Mr. Skootsky let us down in terms of ignoring us. He had to have tuned in. The only outcome is that Skootsky listened to one episode. The episode after we asked to talk to him, he's like, "Oh, I wonder why." And it had, us talking about how he's a dumb fat idiot who his wife probably hates him.
Yeah, it was kind of probably uncalled for. By the way, the inquiry has been made.
Okay, so it's out there. So maybe in the coming weeks we will have.
So I tagged you in the post.
Oh, perfect. Well, if it's on Instagram, let's just say what it is.
Yeah, at that point, the Flat Earther podcast, the Flat Earth podcast.
Now, here's the problem, because I think arguing with a flat earther
By the way, they said they promised to blow our mind with flat Earth truth.
Promised?
Promise.
Because here's the problem with arguing with those people, Steve.
4,000 followers.
We're punching up. Is
they posted just 15 days ago, posted a picture of 5 different jars of salsa.
Oh, yeah, when you're talking flat earth, you're talking salsa. Again, that'll be on the polls as well. If you're talking flat earth, are you always talking salsa? Because those two
hand in hand.
Hand in hand. Absolutely. Actually, I'll phrase it a little better than that. Does flat earth and salsa go hand in hand? Because that's guaranteed.
Do flat earth and salsa go?
Yes.
Yeah. Come on, we've got to be grammatically correct.
My problem with arguing with these people is I have never once taken a single second of my life to research why they think this, other than, I can't see the curve of the earth. So I'm going to come in massively underprepared.
Oh, yeah.
Defending what seems to be the most logical thing ever.
Right. And everything that they say, and I don't have the science to back it up, but everything that they say, I'm going to be like, well, I mean, yeah, but. So maybe, I don't know, part of me.
The only thing I really care about is, do they believe in the armed military at the edge? Because that's the thing, right?
Ends.
Is they believe the world ends, but once you go there, you don't come back because they kill you because you found it.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's ever seen the secret world military.
Well, I'm sure some have,
but
then they get thrown off the edge.
Yeah, not live to tell the tale. I hope that happens. Maybe we save them for the big cure for the cure. Get them on, ask what they're donating, and then make fun of them.
Yeah, well, like you donate $100, you can talk for 3 minutes uninterrupted.
Yeah, but uninterrupted on mic. But I expect a slide whistle in the background. Right. I wanted to say thank you again to everybody who reached out after last week's episode and the how I kind of told the story of my heart surgery. I wasn't happy with it. After I left, I didn't like it. I feel like I didn't tell a complete tale. It wasn't very narratively well done, but it is what it is. It's out there.
Which is why we're going to cover the rest of it right now.
And
there I was.
So I'm sorry, Steve. I just want to make sure I'm grammatically correct here. Does flat Earth and salsa go hand in hand? Do?
Yeah.
Do flat Earth? Do because
yeah.
I got it.
Okay. Now.
People love the slide whistle.
I had people message me saying that the slide whistle has never been better.
No
I take great pride in that. So thank you. But I don't want to take the spotlight from you. That was your episode.
But that's why I brought it up, because that was the perfect instance of the slide whistle. I'm so glad we thought of that. It lightened the mood.
Yeah, it worked. It worked very well.
But a bunch of people did reach out and say that story was affected them. So thank you very much. And I think if there can be a single takeaway, it is that if you feel anything wrong with you in your heart, chest pain, do not put it off. There is no incentive to put it off. Just go talk to a doctor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if my wife did not push me, I never would have gotten this done.
Stay healthy, people. Get healthy. If you're not healthy, get healthy.
I found something out a couple of weeks ago from you, and we got done recording last week, and I said, put that on the notes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to ask you about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying you do something like this all the time, but every person goes in phases, right? We talked a couple of years ago. My wife and I did the Whole30 for a month.
Oh, yeah.
That's
basically Whole30 is a diet where you can only eat like grain. What is it? Grains
no grains, no grains,
no grains,
no sugar unless it's natural sugar and fruit.
Okay.
No added anything. No.
Right.
So
it's basically you're eating ingredients.
It's an absolute diet. There's no question.
Now
that it
proteins.
Works.
Can you do chicken? Can you do beef?
Yes,
okay.
But like you can have a salad, but you can't have dressing unless the dressing is like. So we had a homemade vinaigrette that by the time we were at the end, I would open this chicken salad I had at work, and it would almost make me gag because the smell of that vinaigrette every day was ruining
if you don't like it, you don't like it.
Ruining me. But there's no question it works for my money, it is the least sustainable diet ever. It's one, super expensive, and two, very time consuming in terms of cooking, preparing things that you can eat, preparing things that you can't eat.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's entirely illogical if you have a child or a family. Oh my goodness! I mean, obviously, you feed the child whatever they need at that point, and I'm not saying the kid has to go on a whole 30,
or you just starve them,
right? But when you're seeing your kid eat chicken nuggets or fruit snacks or something, and then you open your salad with no croutons and a homemade dressing,
none of the fun stuff on it.
Yeah, you're ready to throw it against the wall.
Yeah.
So
especially the 29th day in a row.
And I worked on the road. Talked about that, so it's not like I could stop and heat up a lunch. So I couldn't have anything warm. I couldn't have a heated up chicken or whatever. Nope, It was in my lunch pail with an ice pack to keep cool. So your options are limited. So when I found out, I want to say it was a couple of weeks ago, and you just mentioned it in passing. It wasn't like you messaged me out of the blue, said, "Hey, got news,
breaking,
Kyle, I'm on a diet."
Yeah.
Now, the last time this happened for you, there was, I believe it was an explicit statement from your wife, kind of veiled in being nice, but saying like, "Hey, getting a little bigger."
Did she?
There was a comment made that made, and maybe it wasn't that, but it was a comment made that made you self-conscious enough that I believe you even started going to that was when you may have gone to the gym.
I vaguely remember that. God, that must have affected me because I blacked it out. I vaguely remember something. I don't remember the interaction or what the actual quote was, but yeah.
So when I found out in passing that you're on a diet,
I am.
My mind went to, one, what's the reason? And two, here's what I always think, because you've done it in the past, but you've been pretty outspoken that you don't have a reason to do it again. You on the comeback trail for like a marathon again?
Marathon, no.
Okay, so you're not. Nope. So that's not in the cards because
I mean
you can just run.
Never say never,
but it helps to be in shape.
I don't have any plans. I'm not like, hey, the New York City Marathon 2022.
You don't have something saying here's the day and date, time to prepare.
No,
okay.
I do have a race that I'm considering.
Okay, and is that the reason for the diet?
No.
Okay,
no.
So this diet is not related. So then I have multiple.
Mm-hmm.
We've now gone down two pieces of the fork.
Yeah,
that you have a race you're looking toward, and we might not get to that this week. I'm gonna directly tell you that
even that it's not a big. It's just something that I thought like it'd be nice to get in shape and maybe do that again because I had done it one other time maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I thought that seems manageable.
But you know how it goes. I have questions.
Yeah. Well, the floor is yours, sir.
So let's.
The floor is yours
today because it was the focus. Let's talk diet.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what happened. What's the diet like?
Okay.
What's the end game? Is it directly weight related? Is it some other goal or incentive you're searching for? What sprung this about, Steve?
What sprung it about was feeling like pretty much garbage for the last 2 years or so.
Okay, like on a day-to-day.
Day-to-day.
Any type of exercise or, hey, jog up a couple flights of stairs, you get to the top, you're winded.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. It was doing that a few times. Like carrying Evelyn upstairs in the afternoon to take a nap and getting to the top of the steps and being like, I shouldn't be winded from that.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm not like doubled over like I just run a race.
You're not searching for a chair.
But I can feel, feel my heart pumping, and I thought back to 5 years ago. It's been at this point when I had the infamous fart attack where I ended up in the ER.
Yes,
and that was all related to terrible diet. I ate like crap, ate way too much fat, too much processed stuff.
Is it also something? Did they do like a gluten test? It
wasn't gluten. No, for me, it was all liver related. And it just, even back then, that put in perspective for me. I remember the doctor saying, you got to go on just a very bland diet for the next couple of weeks to kind of
clean your system.
Not like detox, but kind of reset things.
Okay.
And I did that, and I remember losing a couple pounds, but I was miserable the whole time because it was just like I couldn't really eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, a couple, maybe a month and a half ago, I stepped on the scale in the bathroom, and the number that I saw was very disappointing to me. And I looked down at it, and I was like, okay, got to make a change. So that's when I started. I got a new pair of running shoes, and I ran like 5 or 6 days in a row, and I was eating better. I was still eating stuff that wasn't great for me, but I was limiting myself. I wasn't letting myself graze and constantly have like, I need, just popping
walking
things
around having a snack because you're hungry.
Exactly.
And so you're like, hey, I'm not hungry. And I think that's a lot of the problem with people who have eating issues.
Yeah.
Is it's one, it's there. And two, it's so normal.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not hungry, but boy, that bag of chips is there. And
it's
I like
a habit
flavor.
too.
Yes.
It's a habit. I ate it this time yesterday. So now my stomach is telling me, you're hungry again today. Like I don't know if I have an eating disorder, but I definitely have issues with food. I find it very difficult to stop eating, even when my body is telling me, hey man, you're good. You're full. And I've always struggled with that, especially later in life.
Yeah. The metabolism slows down.
Much.
Yes.
Yeah. It slows down a lot. So I started eating a little bit better. I started running, and it was like 5 days. I was down like 6 or 7 pounds.
Okay.
And I was like, holy crap. Okay.
Now eating right, you're not talking about, coming home and taking all the snacks and throwing them in the garbage. You're talking moderation. And not, like you said, not grazing and not, hey, 1 Oreo's fine, but it's better.
10.
6 or 10 Oreos.
Yeah. No, for me, it was the couple things I really focused on was moderation, getting my exercise in, and not eating late at night before I go to bed.
Okay. Which is, all of the studies, everything has said, hey, don't eat before bed. That food just sits. You're not like burning any calories there. It just sits and, it's fat. So it's not helping.
So I did that. And like I said, it was like 6 or 7 pounds, I think, just kind of disappeared. And I was like, all right, something's wrong with the scale, or what the hell? This is crazy. But it was legit. And then right at the same time, which was the craziest, perfect timing ever, an email went out from the general manager at the radio station saying, hey, we have this client that wants to sign on to advertise with all of the radio stations. Okay. And they're a weight loss company, and they want to know if anybody's interested in...
Start with like an N?
No.
Okay. That's the one I'm familiar. I see ads for.
Nope.
I didn't know. Okay.
No, so he said they want to know if anyone on air is interested in trying out this plan and endorsing it on the air. Immediately replied, I'm in. Didn't really think anything of it, but then a week later, got an email from somebody else saying, hey, we heard you're interested in this. If you want, there's going to be we'll set up a Zoom call with you. We can tell you what the program's all about. If you like it, cool. If you don't, no worries. Like no hard feelings if you don't think that it's something that you'll be able to work into your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I talked to them, and it was I liked it. I knew it was going to be a big change.
So was this program a strictly dietary program, or dietary and exercise?
No,
program?
just dietary program. So I said, yeah, I'm in, and had another call with them. I had a meeting with them, like where I went to their office, and they have one of those scales that you stand on it, and it doesn't just tell you your weight, but it tells you body fat, and
which is incredible,
metabolic age and visceral fat and all these things that I'm like, how does this work?
I'm gonna guess that your time frame was similar. In high school PE, there was a portion where they taught us how to measure body fat with that caliper.
Yeah, the calipers.
And now we're at a stage where you step on a scale and it tells you the number.
Yeah. And that's exactly, 10 years ago when I did P90X, that was the last time I think that I truly, and even then that I wouldn't even consider that a diet.
It's a strict
program. That was more based on exercise, but there was a food program that you needed to follow. But with that, it was like 7 proteins a day. Eat whatever you want. 3 vegetables a day. Eat whichever ones you want. Just don't go over.
Get the number, yeah.
So, so I signed up, and I had to send them on a daily basis. I have to step on a scale that they gave me.
Like one of the fancy ones.
Well, yeah, it's not the super fancy one that they have at the office, but it's it's a smart scale.
Yeah, so it's more of a medical scale than just the one you're seeing.
Yeah.
The one you buy for $29 at the store.
And it measures, obviously, body weight, body fat percentage, and this one also does like hydration. I can tell you how hydrated you are or not. So I started this program 22 days ago. I'm on now. So while on that program, I am down 17 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm down, but total, I'm down like 23 or 24 pounds in about the last month and a half.
You know what? Get me on board.
You in?
I'm dead. Listen,
you don't even need to go through them. I'll just give you all the info you need.
Okay.
I'll photocopy my books.
Well, what do you think we can get him on the podcast? On board? I mean, different level. We talked about, but
we could.
We get a flat earther.
Maybe
taking that step up.
But I'm not going to lie and say it's been the easiest thing ever, because I'm eating. I was probably eating, I don't know, with the crap I was eating, I bet 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day pretty easily.
Yeah.
And with this, I think the most I've eaten is 800 calories. So that's why there's no.
Doesn't feel like enough.
Trust me, there are some days where I think the same thing.
You're
hungry. It's for 40 days. So I'm in what's called the lose phase, where for 40 days you stick to this diet, you burn off a lot of the fat that's just been sitting.
The classic Moses program, right?
Yeah.
40 days, 40 nights in the desert.
Exactly.
That's what they
same.
call it. They sent you the packet on their big old picture of your face photoshopped on top of Moses.
Well,
Was Moses the one who did that? Am I way off base?
They send it to me chiseled on a tablet, obviously.
Who spent 40 days in the desert? I feel like I'm off base because
Moses or Steve.
You're telling me Moses got 2 big moments there? He got the tablets and he got the 40 days in the desert?
Boy, I don't know. We're gonna have to get an expert on.
Being baptized, this is a lot of
so.
Of Christ, Matthew.
So yeah, I'm roughly halfway through the.
It was Jesus.
Oh. Did we already post it?
No.
Oh, we don't want to look like idiots.
No, I mean, boy, would that be embarrassing, mixing up, the guy who got struck by lightning with tablets on a mountaintop and a guy who spent 40 days in
Moses
the
had the
desert.
beard,
Yeah.
Was that Zeus?
Apologies to Brian and
all the other
believers
out there.
But I'm sorry, Steve, I interrupted you. We were talking about not Moses.
No.
But it's the 40-day program.
40-day program.
Sponsored by Jesus Christ. That you're on.
Right.
They got the naming rights.
Yeah.
From Jesus.
Yeah.
Which I'm told by a lot of LED boards in front of buildings that he's back.
He is.
So
that's what I hear.
I'm glad they got the naming rights.
Yeah.
So you're on day 24,
22.
25. You've lost a bunch of pounds.
Yeah.
Is this something you're going to repeat, or are you going to do 40, take 30, and live a little bit more normally, then do another 40?
What you do is 40 days on the very strict diet, which is basically proteins, vegetables, fruits.
Yeah.
Sounds very similar to
Whole30-ish.
Whole30, but
not as extensive.
I've been able to kind of carve out a little niche. I have a lot, because the first couple days, I'm like, I feel like I'm just eating ingredients.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll eat chicken now. Now I'll just eat some of a tomato.
You're dumping a leaf of lettuce in your mouth,
right,
and then chasing it with water.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie. It takes a lot of commitment, which I'm sure from from Whole30.
You doing the meal prep stuff every day, so you're preparing for the week.
Not so much meal prep in that I have like 100 Tupperware containers with my chicken and my lettuce and my tomatoes.
That's what I can't do. It's so much time to do that, and I see people do it. And I have all the respect in the world for people who do. And I know it makes your Wednesday night, Thursday night easier. You don't have to pack a lunch. But, man, sitting there on a Saturday or Sunday spending 4 hours cooking chicken and then cutting up vegetables, man, I can't do it.
Well, what I've been doing is if I want chicken, like today, if I want chicken for lunch, I'll probably make 3 or 4 chicken breasts.
So you're having a chicken breast with maybe some seasoning, but you're not lathering it in barbecue sauce or anything, right? So none of the
nothing.
Part.
Now there are a bunch of one specific brand of salad dressings and marinades that I can use
Okay.
that are okay.
Limited ingredient type stuff.
Yeah, I prefer them more as marinades. I like them more with a protein as opposed to with just lettuce and tomatoes and stuff like that. But I'm getting too far down the rabbit hole here. But yeah, it's so after 40 days, then I go into a new phase where it's like a reintroductory phase where I slowly reintroduce, like say I love peanut butter. I slowly reintroduce peanut butter. Maybe I have it 2 or 3 days in a row, and based on my scale, we know how it reacts.
Yeah.
If my weight stays even, all right, cool. I can.
You know that's an ingredient you can bring back in.
I can bring back in. Yeah. I mean, obviously in moderation. So, and then after that, there's another phase where it's like, all right, now I'm starting to look long term. What is my diet actually going to look like?
Yeah.
But at this point, I am 0.1 pounds away from being into the 160s for the first time in, I think maybe since I was in high school.
Wow. Now I was going to ask because how would it compare? Like 4 weeks ago, right before you start this program.
Yeah.
How did you compare physically, weight-wise, feeling-wise, to when we were even playing softball, which was 3 years ago?
About the same.
Okay.
I mean,
but I
probably
thought you felt pretty good when we played softball. Didn't you?
Weigh at that point, like right before I started this program, I probably weighed 5 or 6 pounds more than I did when we were playing softball.
Okay. So now you're under.
Okay.
So you could trot out to second base today, be as nimble as you've been since high school.
Yes.
Sounds like we got a challenge on our hand.
But that's not. That's more of a shot at how bad I was in high school than accolades for how good I am now.
I think maybe we could do a little video at like a local
Okay.
high school field. I'll hit some grounders.
Yeah.
To you
and
at second.
I'll just dive.
And you grab some grounders and, imitate or actually throw it to first base.
Yeah.
And you just tell me, well, we can get my brother out there at first base.
Sure, yeah.
He can stand there pretty efficiently.
Hopefully he's already on his way because not the fastest.
So a 13-minute warning until we lose my brother Robert, who, again, has told us numerous times.
God rest his soul.
Once that hits 60 minutes, the podcast goes bye-bye.
So, does he really hate me? Brief sidebar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my brother really likes you.
I don't believe that.
Does it infuriate you, Steve, that you live and are married to someone who, by a total outsider's perspective, I've known Annette
7 years we've been together.
So I've probably known Annette 5 to 6 years, right?
Oh, you probably met her pretty early on. I mean,
we're coming up on our 5-year podcast anniversary from when I started coming over to your house every week.
Yeah, I would bet that you probably met her within the first 6 months that we were dating.
So, by the way, another very quick sidebar. I think the 5-year anniversary, should we bust out some bits, some pieces of the Lost episode?
Okay.
And,
we can do that.
And because for you and me, that's torture. Listening back to it.
I do not like it.
I don't like it. And especially, boy, that very first episode 0. God, is it bad. So maybe we'll bust out some pieces. We're not going to play the whole thing, but we'll bust out some bad pieces of it. Does it infuriate you, though, that in the 6 to 7 years I've known Annette, you appear to live with somebody whose weight has fluctuated what looks to be 3 pounds either direction?
Yeah.
Like, because you're talking about how you eat like 10 Oreos and you feel like garbage for a week.
Yeah.
Yet I feel like Annette has looked and
she looks amazing.
The exact same.
She looks amazing
for 7 years, and that includes having your child.
Yeah, she looks amazing. And even today, I said to her, I was like, because she hasn't been, for the most part, she's been on board with me for the 22 days.
Yeah.
She'll now, like, if we sit down to eat dinner and I make chicken and broccoli and, some other vegetable, she'll eat that too.
Yeah.
She may make some rice to go along with it or like a grain or whatever.
So rice is a no-no for you, grain in general?
Yeah. Rice, couscous, all of that, no good.
Quinoa,
no good. But yeah, I said to her this morning, I was like, you look amazing. You've lost weight too. Mm-hmm. And it's remarkable.
In my mind, I hope she just went, yeah, thanks. Didn't say anything in return and just walked out of the room.
Yeah.
in her never-ending bid to make you realize you're still just not quite there good enough.
Yeah. Oh, I'm well aware. Annette, she does not play fast and loose with the compliments.
As we've learned over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the specific statement, but if we went back, there was a statement, and it wasn't directed at you specifically saying, Steve, you're overweight, but there was a comment that made you feel...
Yeah, if somebody happens to remember that.
Oh, I do remember that happened. So that's hard to come. So you're still striving. But hey, I walked in this morning. You look a much thinner in the neck area and down
Yeah, it's funny. This morning, after Evelyn ate breakfast, she was kind of fidgeting, and so I just grabbed her and I set her on my lap, and she was just being. It was one of those mornings where she was just being super cute and lovey and affectionate. She's sitting on my lap and she's like hugging me and everything. So I grabbed my phone and I took a selfie with her sitting on my lap, and that was in 22 days. That was the first time that I looked at a picture, and I thought, You've actually lost weight.
Nice.
I could see it in my face. Like I feel a little bit.
Thought about sending it to the old photo lab, getting a copy, slapping it on the fridge.
Yeah, maybe.
Make it your profile picture.
I thought about posting it.
Maybe. Should you post?
I thought about posting it just to see if anyone else says anything.
I think you should. And this is vulnerable, so I'm not volunteering this for you. But, you could easily pull a still from a Comanche video from 4 or 5 weeks ago, and then the one you took this morning.
Yeah.
And kind of compare and say, that this is the difference.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't want to, hone in on your thing. I want in.
You seriously want in?
I want to at least give it a shot. Boy, that was a good one. Boy, never again.
Yeah, by the way, you know what I've noticed since I've been on that diet? I don't do that as much.
It's a bummer, though.
Yeah. I mean,
I want in.
Look, if you want me to go back to the old ways, just go upstairs, grab me some lard, and I'll
go upstairs and grab me a pint of ice cream.
Yeah,
and I'll start downing it.
Yeah. So,
I want in.
I mean, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I definitely would. I feel a lot better. I'm still roughly 10 pounds away from my goal weight.
Okay.
But yeah, with this diet, you can lose. And I'm not getting.
You're not being a spokesman.
I'm not a spokesman in this arena. I am when I'm on the radio show.
No free ride.
But I still 100% endorse it.
Yeah.
Like they say that you can lose up to 40 pounds in 40 days.
Which, I mean, at this point, you're kind of on that pace.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I think you probably hit a plateau where it starts to slow down or level out. But
and I don't want to lose that much.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. So where I was originally I was at 193. When I started the diet, I was down at 187. I think if I can beat a 160,
I'd love to get down to like 165, 170.
I think because originally I had said that my goal weight was 165, but I'm only 5 pounds away from that now, and I still think like
you could do a little bit more.
Yeah, I could do a little bit more.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, I feel really good. Trust me, I would be 100% lying if I said that there weren't days that I've struggled or foods that I've eaten. Like one thing that I can eat, a lot of seafood is on there. I'm not a seafood person at all. I like shrimp, I like crab, but for the most part, that's about it. So I was talking to Annette about it, and she's like, well, what about cod? Maybe you could try cod. And instantly my brain goes, oh, cod, that's usually what they use for fish and chips. I like fish and chips. And then I realized, no, I like the breading on the fish.
Same thing, like popcorn shrimp.
Yeah.
You like it that it's fried. That's.
So I made cod one night. I took 3 bites of it, and I was like, well, this is garbage. And now I have a freezer full of cod. So
like you go sell it to some crab fishermen. They use it as bait.
I went all in on cod. All in. I bought so much cod. And so yeah, if anyone local
needs a bunch of cod,
give me your address. I'll drive by and whip it out the window.
He'll even sign it for you.
Autographed cod.
Listen, man, I'm happy for you. I want in. I'd love to see if I can do somewhat similar. I don't think I have the discretion and the ability to do it to the fullest extent.
Yeah.
But I need that. That's something I need to force myself to do.
Yeah, me too. I needed to do that too. I had, like I said, I hit a point where I looked in the mirror and I was like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I felt like garbage. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. And I consider myself lucky because for me, it's going to be obviously a lot easier for me than somebody who is, I felt like I was 30, maybe 35 pounds overweight. Mm-hmm. But for people there are definitely people who are 100 pounds or 150 pounds overweight. And I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy, but it's achievable.
Well, that's the thing.
The better you are at being able to plan things, and if you love cooking, you're going to be thrilled with this. I've never cooked so much in my life. Yeah. Now, granted, a lot of I'm very simple. I'm kind of a dog in the sense that okay, just chicken for the next 3 days, no problem.
Yeah, it's not. That's not bothering you.
No.
Having a chicken breast, seasoned with
not
broccoli,
at all.
whatever.
Not at all.
Okay.
But if you enjoy being in the kitchen, you enjoy making meals, you're going to be happy with this because it just gives you a chance to really take a look at what you're putting into your body.
Right.
And you the next day, like, okay, that worked. That didn't. My weight went up a little bit. Well, what did I do yesterday? Okay, I did this. Eliminate that or alter that. So I highly recommend it. If you seriously, if you're interested in it, just DM me and I'll get you in contact with somebody or at least point you in the right direction.
Yeah, that sounds, if it works, anything that works, people want the easy way out. I think the hardest realization with this is that there is no easy solution.
Yeah.
There isn't something that you can just say, well, I'll wake up, skip ice cream breakfast, which obviously that's a good starting point. But
yeah. I would highly recommend that you do that, whether you're going to start dieting or not.
Skip the Haagen-Dazs at 9:30 in the morning.
Boy.
But listen, I'd love to give it a
You're
shot.
in?
Yeah.
All right. I can show you some paperwork. I'll get you to sign some things. Credit card number.
Starting to feel more pyramid-y than I initially anticipated. All you have to do. Do you know 4 people who would like to lose weight? I'm not going to put it on the poll because it's not fair and you are advertising, but I kind of want to put is Steve's diet a pyramid scheme?
No.
I'm not going to do that.
No, it's they're legit.
Well, I'm happy for you. I hope you continue on this pace. Maybe in a month, I can be right next to you.
Yeah. Well, I have
losing a little bit of weight.
I have 18 days left in my program. My goal was to be in the 160s by my birthday, and
you're gonna be there.
I in theory should be there tomorrow,
unless you have a drastic
unless
emotional
I go crazy,
meltdown,
unless I go nuts today,
and you bust out the Haagen-Dazs for breakfast. Before we get out of here, Steve, let's very quickly recap.
Oh, yeah, hold on 1 second. We got to go to our friend Melissa Vaughn, make sure she hasn't fallen asleep. Melissa.
You there?
Melissa, you still there? Oh, boy. Melissa.
Time to see how wrong everyone else is. It's poll recap time. Find the polls at Steve and Kyle on Twitter.
And Facebook.
Nails it every time. Is Mr. Belvedere a top 5 British person?
Yes.
Number 3 in Steve's official British person rankings. Behind the Queen?
The Queen and Mr. Bean, I think.
They're all in the top 5. Congratulations to everybody who made the top 5.
Yeah, congratulations.
Big honor. Maybe we should send out
William and Kate were up there.
Yeah, maybe we should send some awards to all of them. Imagine, the estate of whatever the guy who played Mr. Belvedere getting a certificate.
It was
Congrats!
Christopher or something.
You made Steve's top 5 British people. Also, sorry, he's dead. If someone can draw that
Condolences.
If someone could draw that up, I'd love to put that on the merch shop.
Yeah. Oh, that would be nice.
Steve, 66% of the audience said yes, he is a top 5 British person. Did not know that was even... I still never seen a single second of Mr. Belvedere.
Did we find it? Is it streaming anywhere?
I don't.
I
I didn't look extensively.
Yeah, you found
There's
one episode or something.
Which I should watch that, but I'd rather die. Would second chance Jeeps be more interesting if it were helping Jeeps through alcohol or narcotic addiction? 84% of the audience said yes. Maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe
Okay, so I gotta pivot a bit.
Maybe you need to have a sit down with the with the Jeep. Be like, it can be better. You don't need to do this to yourself. And then
you're gonna be okay.
And then have another Jeep slowly roll in. Be like, if you don't stop, I'm leaving today. And the first Jeep starts sad honking.
I already see the production cost just being insurmountable.
Well, you're helping Jeep. It's not about production cost, Steve.
Right. Well, look, real world.
It's about the journey. And lastly, what do you call round ice? Your options: ice balls, ice spheres, ice globes, or round ice. And a friend of the show, Brian Krause, I just call them ice.
By the way, we just lost Robert.
Well, he's never going to know what people call round ice now. In last place with 4.8%, ice globes, which I feel is like the fancy person's way. Like if you
take some bourbon and one of those ice globes.
If you're going to one of those craft cocktail places.
Yeah, the ones where like they light your drinks on fire and stuff.
Would you like that neat or with ice globes? That's what they say. 4.8%.
What was ice spheres on there?
Third place. Sorry, that was fourth place. Third place with 11.9%. Ice spheres.
It's a good standing.
That is a good standing. Yeah. And second place, the layman, round ice with 38%. And winning with 45%. The majority. Sorry, it's not the majority. It's the plurality because the majority would be over 50%.
Yes, of course.
45% call round ice balls.
There you have it, folks.
You can find those again on Twitter and Facebook. A large group of them went up this week related to Bobcat Goldthwait, Jerry Seinfeld, Steve's Jesus diet for 40 days. Lots to unpack on the polls this week. Again, at Steve and Kyle on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we got. Sorry for, hope it didn't sound like I was preaching, but.
Well, that's the Jesus diet.
Look,
there's inherent preachiness to it.
Between last week and this week, there's no healthier podcast.
Yeah, there really isn't. So stay tuned next week when we talk salsa with a flat earther.
That's actually something that might happen.
I mean, what salsa companies sit there going, hey, we got to get an ad deal with these Looney Tunes?
All right, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Steve and Kyle. We'll talk to you next week.